island and we're going, oh my God, this is just amazing. And then
so much better than our place in Portugal.
So then at that moment in time, it'll be like, oh, thank God, you know, whatever. But when you're in a situation, to me, it just feels like my whole world, my entire dream, it's been like, it's just gone, it's poof.
Hello and welcome back to the Wildlands.
So in last week's video, we had our bad news with our visa. Kind of left that on a bit of a cliffhanger because what exactly are we going to do in our current predicament with our visa? So later in the video, we're going to talk about that.
I hope you enjoyed tonight's video.
In July 2021, with the increase in travel restrictions caused by Brexit and the pandemic, we decided to buy off-grid land in Portugal to live a more sustainable lifestyle.
Follow along with our journey as we turn our beautiful but derelict land into our very own slice of off-grid heaven. Wildlands.
So it's been a challenging week, isn't it, for us this week?
It has.
Pretty damn depressing, to be honest. We're not normally very negative, but speaking for myself, I've been very, very negative this week. I've kind of lost the will now. It's felt like a big battle trying to get our visa, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've kind of run out of energy now. So frustrating. So what we've been thinking about is, well, what exactly are we going to do if we have to leave the wildlands? I mean, that's a horrible thought in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. We do have a few options, and we're still looking into them. So we're not going to tell you exactly what we're going to do because we don't know for sure, but we have some sort of plan B, plan C kind of things. So our first criteria that we're looking at is we need to go somewhere where we can buy land and it's fairly cheap. So that rules out somewhere like France. We need to be able to home educate, which rules out a whole bunch of other countries in Europe. And we want to live off-grid and have a bit of land.
Yep.
So we've narrowed the countries down. We want to stay in Europe and not go to the rest of the world. We've narrowed them down to Bulgaria or Ireland, and there's pros and cons for both, aren't there?
There is, and we've not been really putting a lot of time and energy into it because we're still going on the basis that, of course, the visa is going to be accepted.
Yes.
But I think in the back of my mind, I've accepted that that's not going to happen because it's just we've done all the hoop jumping, and it's like we're still. Just doesn't seem like it's going to go through.
Well, we're kind of in limbo, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we've only got about 60 more days, which is how long it'll take, apparently, for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get back to our appeal, and then we'll either have it or we won't. So in those 60 days, we don't really feel like doing any work on Wildlands, but at the same time, you kind of have to. You have to have something to do to keep you going. And also, if we do have to sell Wildlands, we might as well carry on with all of our projects to increase its sale value.
Yeah, so simple things are, we'd already bought the wood and the roofing to do the roof on the kitchen. So that's all bought and paid for, and it's not something really that would be practical for us to take with us if we left the wildlands, because it's a load of telegraph poles and corrugated iron.
So might as well get the roof up.
So if we get the roof up, we had our solar system partly sponsored by Shorelar and partly paid for by ourselves. So again, might as well get that all in because it's a benefit now the shade house has a solar system in.
Yes.
So I must be honest, for me, I'm finding it hard to be motivated, but I think it's just got to be done. And then if we have to sell, we have to sell. It's just something we have to deal with, isn't it?
Yes. So we sell up here, and then we'll go somewhere else that has a nice off-grid community.
Yep.
We're leaning I like the idea of Ireland because obviously it's better for English speaking. And in Bulgaria, as far as we can tell, there's a much, much smaller community. Ireland's obviously wet a lot of the time and colder. But then Bulgaria is supposed to be like Portugal's climate.
Yep.
If maybe a bit more extreme, a bit hotter, a bit colder. So we can't quite decide. And plus, we haven't visited either country ever. No. So I think we'd need to do that first.
Yeah. So in the back of my head, my plan is, assuming the worst happens and we have to leave the wildlands, is I think the first thing to do would be to sell the things from the wildlands that are not that we can't fit on the van, or that wouldn't become part of the sale of the land. So that might be things like chainsaws, what have you. Get some money back in the pot because we are skint. We've always reinvested the money back into the land on a kind of bit by bit. So we have no money today, but in a couple of weeks we might have some money. So then we'd buy this, and then we have no more money, and it's that sort of cycle. So that would be sell off the stuff that we can, sell the land, and then drive from here to Bulgaria, but not in a massive rush, maybe taking a month, 2 or 3 weeks.
Going back to van life.
Yeah, going back to van life. Get to Bulgaria, try and hook up with some communities or people that live there. So if you're in Bulgaria and you're off-grid, or maybe you're not off-grid but you're in Bulgaria, drop us a message, reach out, so that we can sort of get an idea of where the communities are, because I've not been able to find very much online at all about the sort of community aspect. That doesn't mean that you're not there in Bulgaria, but I'd like to see what the community is like.
Yep. And another thing that's really important to us, as well as I mentioned, home education obviously needs to be legal, but also Rosie needs friends, a peer group. Lots of people of roughly her age, English speaking, that go on trips and outings and stuff like we have here in Portugal. That was really amazing to find here. Bunch of off-grid kids that can get together. And
that's, you know, it's just so frustrating about the visa. It's just a bit of paper. But I mean, we've made friends, haven't we? I mean, I've got friends here that I would think are going to be lifelong friends. Rosie's made some really, really good friends, and we all see each other, you know, every week, help each other out, and it's just so disappointing to have to leave that behind when we're already settled here. You know, we've already been here over a year. It's crazy, isn't it?
And if Brexit had never happened, though we wouldn't need the visa, and then CEF in Castelo Branco have said that we would have been, they would have given us residency right there and then last year. So yeah, it's so silly.
Yeah, so before we move on to the positives of today's videos, I was saying, so my plan would be go up to Bulgaria, have a good look round, and if we like it, then maybe we just buy somewhere there and then, because we're already there. If we're not sure, or we don't like it, or we want to be sensible, we'd then go from there to Ireland, check that out, do the same, and then maybe in half a year's time, we'll have a decision of let's go to Ireland, let's go to Bulgaria.
That does make sense. I think we need to test them both out first.
I think so. But as Missy said, we don't really have a plan other than the fact that trying to remain on the positive that maybe we're meant to leave the wildlands. Maybe we'll find some other property, whether it's in Bulgaria or Ireland, and we'll go, oh my God, this is just amazing. And then
so much better than our place in Portugal.
So then at that moment in time, it'll be like, oh, thank God, you know, whatever. But when you're in a situation, to me, it just feels like my whole world, my entire dream, it's been like, it's just gone, it's poof. And we've invested all that time and money into building stuff and all the passion of, and then, you know, chickens and other protractions of leaving the land as well.